What is going on, guys? You are here listening to another episode of Paving the Way. I'm Daniel Wright, your host, and I am, as always, happy to see you here. Guys, I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. I hope you've got a lot of great things planned for the rest of this week, and I hope that you are just continuing to kick ass as 2024 rolls right on through the calendar year. Guys, anybody who follows along with my social media accounts, you've probably seen that I've been at the beach the last couple of days. I'm recording this for you guys on Tuesday night or Tuesday evening. You're listening to it on Wednesday morning, hopefully, because the people who are on time listen to my stuff. And but I had some time to kind of reset, reflect, and get refreshed and come back. So I wanted to come in this evening, get this done for you guys while I had stuff fresh on my mind, and just to pass out a message. So one of the big things that I've been coming across lately in my business journey is the principle of who, not how. Right. So when you're scaling a company, when you're growing a company, the who's, the people, are more important than the how's, the things that you're getting done. So I got a few bullet points I wanted to jump into today on that. So let's get started. All right, guys. All right. Welcome back. If I'm being honest with you right now, if you're watching this, you can probably see that I don't have my computer in front of me like I normally do, because I'm normally sitting over here controlling the little video that plays, and I have some notes written up to try and keep me on track so I don't go rambling down rabbit holes. But so Randy's over here running the computer for me, running the, all the stuff. And I told him during the video, I said, hey, you got to turn that up. I said, I got to hear that music playing. So that way it kind of gets me in the zone and whatever it is. It's kind of like one of those like triggers or one of those cues to get me ready to sit and have a little chat with you. But just wanted to kind of fill you in on the background of that. But nonetheless, guys, getting into the point of what we want to talk about today is who, not how. Okay. So you've probably heard it in books, in podcasts, different interviews, different teaching situations, coaching situations, whatever it may be. And that's that you have to really put a lot of emphasis when you're growing your business, when you're growing your company, on the who's, not the how's, right? So every contractor starts out as a small business and they're doing the stuff themselves. And when they're doing that, they start to be their own worst enemy of growth. By that, I mean, they start getting so good at building it. They get so good at doing it. And then they think that they're the only ones who can do it. So when the company starts out, for example, Proline, when I started out my company, I was the main person who was doing all the striping. I was about the only one who would paint the lines. I had Roy who helped me early on. He had the knack for it. He had that wise man knack on how to paint straight lines and things like that. But most other people who came and worked with me, I said, nope. I'm the only one that's going to be painting these lines. You can go paint a stencil, paint an arrow, go clean something, whatever it was. And I had this mentality that I was the only one who could actually do it right. And therefore, when people came to work with me, they kind of got a little irritated because they're like, look, I didn't come here just to be the cleaning boy. I didn't come here just to be the gopher, just to go get this and go get that. Like, I want to actually do something. I want to learn. I want to grow. And so, like I've told you guys before, the first time that I ever actually had another couple of guys go handle a striping job was when I was out of town, out of state. So that way I couldn't just show up to the job site. I couldn't just pick up a machine and start painting. I couldn't just, take over and do it because I thought I was the only one who could do it a certain way. And so that was the time that it really opened up my eyes to the fact that, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not God's gift to line striping, and that someone else can actually do the work just as good as I can, if not better, right? Which I've learned now, almost 8 years into this, that there's guys and girls out there that can do this stuff better than I have. So that's point number one. Every contractor or small business owner's biggest enemy is themselves, because they are the ones who, like I said, they built it, they did it, and then they think they're the only ones who can do it going forward. As I've mentioned also previously, as you've heard the saying, systems scale, people don't, right? Humans, individuals, people on your team, they're only capable of doing so much in a given day or given hours or a given week, month, year, so on and so forth. And so you can only get so much out of them, right? So you have to, okay, well, you just hire more people. That's great. But if you don't have a system to plug those people into, to plug those performers into, to follow how you did it, right? Because you built it, you did it, and you thought you were the only ones who could do it. So you fine-tuned that whole process, that whole system. So you need to make sure that as you're doing those things, that you document all of that, which creates your systems and processes. Once you create the systems and processes with those finely tuned, how to do this, how to lay that out, how to set this up, whatever it may be, then you can plug those people in, and then that's what scales. The system grows, the people get plugged into it, and then you give them the roadmap to get it done. And as you hire them, and then they're able to follow your fine-tuned processes that are all documented, all laid out, which I highly recommend doing it on a digital format, because let's face it, it's 2024. So if you're expecting people to read a 300-page manual on how to paint parking lots, you're way behind. You need to get with the program. So document the processes and systems, because that's what's going to be able to scale. And then once you get those going, right, you've started getting to that point where you've got some people on board, you've got some people on your team helping you rock and roll, get things done. Then you need to make sure that you have the right people in the right seats, because when you do that, you'll get the right results. Now, this is the main meat and potatoes of what I'm wanting to talk about, right? And this is the main meat and potatoes because this is exactly where I'm at and what I'm going through and what I'm dealing with right now in our company. As I tell you guys all the time, I don't just make shit up and talk about things. I don't just, read a book, highlight it, and then read you what I read, right? That's kind of pointless. Now, obviously, I learned these things from somewhere, but I want to take what I've learned, put it into real life actionable items, and then pass along to you guys the lessons that I've learned or are learning along the process. And I can tell you right now that putting the right people in the right seats is such a simple phrase, but yet it's so difficult to do. Right? There's a handful of reasons why it's difficult, but you get so focused on how to get things done that we lose sight of the people doing the things, right? And so as you're growing through your company, you're getting those people on board. You get those first couple of full-time employees that they're bought into the vision, they're bought into the mission, they're rock and rolling, and you think they are God's gift to whatever business you have, right? Because they're the only ones who actually showed up for day 2. Everybody else, they're never freaking showed up. So you think they're great. So you hire in somebody who's never done anything that your company's done before. And then because they're the first person you have, well, all of a sudden they're a manager, right? All of a sudden they're the director of their department because they have no one else to report to and no one to reports to them. So you're all of a sudden the boss of that department. And so you do these things as a small business owner, not because you're dumb or you're ignorant. It's just because you're naive. You haven't had to do these types of things before. You haven't had to look for the qualifications, the characteristics, and the capabilities of someone who's actually designed to be a manager or who's actually designed to be a director, right? So you get so focused on doing the things like, oh, this person continues to show up, so they are the manager. And then you put it on their door, you put it on their business card, you put it on their email title, whatever it is. And next thing you know, you start hiring other people. And then you're like, well, that person can do the same thing that this person was doing. So why are they a manager? Because they've been here longer. Now, anybody who's ever worked anywhere or done anything in life, no one's going to agree that just because you've been there longer means that all of a sudden you're qualified to be the leader of someone else, right? There's a lot of people we know who've done things the wrong way for a lot of years, and they just still stay in those positions for whatever reason I have yet to figure out. But as we grow the business, the people have to grow with it, right? And the company we are right now in 2024 is obviously not the same company I was back in 2016 when I was doing this part-time with a couple of helpers and just, getting things done on the weekends or at nights or on my days off. So when the company's growing and the people aren't growing with it, well, then you have a problem, right? Because you need those seats filled as the bus gets bigger, as it's going longer distances. You need different people in those seats to make sure the bus gets where it needs to go, the bus being your company. And so making sure that you're actually looking at each individual in your company and each position that they're filling. If you were to write a position description and you took the person's face and name away from it, what would the qualifications and characteristics be of that position? right? So think about that for a minute. If you have a sales manager, an operations manager, a media manager, whatever it may be, are those people who are in those seats fulfilling those qualifications and characteristics that you would write for a job posting to try and hire someone for that role? If they are, great. Keep rocking and rolling. If they're not, the old saying of change the people or change the people comes into play, right? So you can either start coaching and teaching your individuals what needs to be done to fulfill that role, or you're going to have to find somebody else to fill that role. And that, my friends, is an extremely difficult part of business leadership, okay? Because you love these individuals, right? If you are a heart-centered leader, if you're somebody who actually gives a shit about your people, your team, your clients, whoever it may be, the people that you impact in your realm of responsibilities, you care about them. And so as you're doing these things, as you're building your business, as you're making sure you have the right people in the right seats, you have to make sure that the people are where they can flourish, where they can grow, where they are fulfilled, right? Because when you put the right person in the right seat, it allows them the opportunity for fulfillment and growth while allowing your business to scale. It's a byproduct. You put them somewhere where they're going to grow, where they wake up every day and they're excited to come to work. They're excited to go to the next level, to push a little bit harder than they did the day before. Your business will grow as a byproduct of that. It's inevitable. Okay. So make sure that you're actually taking time to evaluate the people and the seats that they're filling in your company, because you can't do this without them and they can't do it without your guidance and leadership, right? That's what makes the whole thing work together. And so, in my opinion, from my experience at this day and this time in my life, August 21st or whatever day it is right now, I don't even know. This is the biggest struggle that I'm overcoming as we're going to the next level of business, is actually looking at the people that we have on our team, figuring out, are they in the best seat for them? Are they where that they are going to be fulfilled? Are they where they're going to enjoy what they're doing, that they're creating, a good atmosphere, that they're happy, that they're going home satisfied, and they're looking forward to coming back the next day? Because it's so easy to put people in a seat because you got a vacancy. And so you find somebody with a heartbeat, somebody who shows up, somebody who can speak, and you say, this is your position, have at it. So my encouragement is, as you're growing your company, as you're scaling things, that you really try to keep these things in mind, that every contractor or small business owner's biggest enemy for growth is themselves. Okay. Because you built it, you did it, and you think you're the only one who can do it your way. I promise you, you're wrong. Point number 2, systems scale, people don't. Take those fine-tuned systems and processes that you designed when you were the one doing all the things, document them on a digital format, and use those to guide and teach your new individuals that you bring on your team. Once you find the right people and put them in the right seats, that's going to get your business the right results, because it's a natural byproduct. When people are happy, when they can grow, when they're fulfilled, and when they're excited about doing what they're doing, they're going to naturally just grow and benefit your business. So make sure that you take a little bit of a time to reflect on this, that you actually look around at your team, whether it's a team of 2, 20, 200, or 2,000. And you actually, I don't know about 2,000 people. That's a whole lot of freaking people. But make sure that you actually take time to realize, I have a responsibility as the leader to make sure that the people who count on me are put in the right seats, so that way they can be successful. That way they can win. They can feel rewarded just like we feel. So it's not an easy thing to do, guys, but nonetheless, it's something that we have to do as leaders. So that's my message for you today. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, the only thing I ask is drop a comment, a like, share it with somebody who you think might benefit from this, so that way we can help pave the way for an easier future for the people who come behind us. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week.